Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today we are doing our first window shopping video for Hella Handmade Creations. Hella Handmade, or HHC for short, is another monthly pre-order site, so it's similar to PPU, but it takes place over a full week instead of just the weekend. And it's also a little bit different where every brand has their own theme, while PPU has these monthly themes. So without further ado, let's just browse the website. Alright, so here is the website for Hella Handmade this month. It's going to be open from the 14th through the 21st as usual. So starting with the first row of polishes, I think the one that stands out to me the most is the Alchemy Lacquers Winter's Bane. Oh, I actually didn't realize those were flakies. I thought it was just kind of a pinkish shimmer in there, but it looks like there's some iridescent flakies. Still very pretty, right? Really pretty shade, but yeah, I'm not tempted to get it or anything, but I just like how it looks. It's so light and whimsical. It seems like such a perfect shade for winter, so just wanted to appreciate it. But yeah, the other shades, not really feeling, and I can't say they remind me of anything else. Like maybe the All Mixed Up Lacquers is a color combination we've seen before, but I'm kind of having a hard time putting my finger on like another polish with that shade of purple, just because I don't usually go for that shade, so I don't have many in my collection to reference, you know what I mean? But it just feels like we've seen that sort of finish before, so we can just keep moving. And these next couple of polishes, not really into them. They're not speaking to me. I guess the most interesting one is the BCB, but this is kind of, in a way, reminding me of Glitch's copper bracelet from their recent Palestine collection, where it looks like this has, a much deeper kind of base color or something, or like it's more of a true gray, I guess. The Glitch shade was more of a brown, but it also had this greenish, shimmer in the background that just made it look sort of like this in a way. I think the only thing they have in common, honestly, is the magnetic shimmer. But yeah, this is definitely an interesting one, very unique color combination, but not one that I need. So again, we can just kind of keep going. And okay, from here, a couple of, pretty shades. I would say the two that are really catching my eye are the Cleona and the Colores de Carol. The Cleona is definitely on the more simple side, so it doesn't feel like I need to get it or anything. I want to say it reminds me of like a Mooncat shade, but this does look like it has a little bit of a bluish base. I mean, it's described as off-white with a cool pink, peach to yellow shifting shimmer. So I think because it's like that iridescent shimmer, it looks a little bit blue. But since it's technically an off-white with a pink shimmer, the closest I think in my mind is, oh gosh, what is it? I feel like it was one of their glow-in-the-dark shades. I want to say What a Brilliant Nose from the Nightmare Before Christmas collab, but I thought that was more of an orangey, like not pink. I mean, either way, I feel like this just looks a little bit more blue toned, so a little bit more unique in a way, but still, very simple. And the one that I think is a little bit more unique is the Colores de Carol, called Snowed In, being this little glitter crelly. Oh my gosh, it looks so cute. I feel like Noodle's nail polish had one similar to this, where it's kind of, that like really light milky white base with all the different blue glitters in there. Whoa, it looks like there are some large flakies in here too. Do you see that? That's like a sheet of ice. That's somehow so fitting for the polish. I think this is so cute. It's not one that I need to get. I have plenty of Crellies that I don't wear enough, but this one is really cute. So, I just wanted to look at it and admire it. Also, yeah, I don't love that there are these like giant random flakies. It just feels so out of place, The blue glitters and the snowflakes kind of felt like enough. I guess maybe if there's like just the smaller flakes like you see in the bottle, that looks pretty nice, but yeah, we don't need it. The only other one kind of catching my eye is the Cracked, called Water Your Own Grass. Love the name, first of all, but the polish itself reminds me so much of the blue from their Glace and Glossy collection last spring. I think it was called Baked Blue. I haven't worn that one in a while, but I feel like this looks really similar. Or actually, maybe this is like more teal teal or just darker. At least it looks that way, you know, on these swatches, where there's more of a contrast between the base and then the shimmer. Maybe it was just the lighting from this initial photo that made it look, you know, a lot brighter. Yeah, this kind of has a little bit more of a teal undertone, I think, compared to that shade. So, you know, it's beautiful, but not one that I need. And I'm not really feeling the bottom row, nor can I think of dupes for them, so we can keep going. From here, I would say, you know, the Emily Damali Wonder of Nature. This one is really pretty, but immediately reminding me of Mooncat's Mermaid Bait, you know, just that classic like shimmer color combination. So always beautiful. Maybe this Danglefoot, you know, like at least from the magnetic and then the combination of the greenish shimmer in the background, it for a second it was giving me Crack's Ghoul's Garden, but this is like a lot darker, kind of giving more true like Wicked vibes, right, with the contrast of the green and pink. Which, by the way, I have not seen Wicked ever, so I don't know, no spoilers. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it or not, but I feel like it's kind of a fun fact because everybody I know has seen it. But at the same time, I feel like you guys know that I don't really watch a lot of like movies and stuff. But anyway, back to the polishes. Yeah, the other shades, you know, not really speaking to me either. I mean, like the Garden Path is kind of like, it's pretty, like I like how sparkly it is, but at the same time it's just not really, I don't know, there's something about it that it's not just totally speaking to me, you know, because it's like a beautiful chocolate brown with like this red shimmer. Oh wow, it's not even described as brown. It's a black jelly filled with fine particle shifting orange shimmer and gold holographic micro glitter. Okay, I can kind of see that now. Maybe that was just like the screen or something, or like here it definitely looks like a black base, but here it looks more brown, right? Like that's not just me, right? An interesting shade for sure. I love the red shimmer, like that's my favorite part about it. But yeah, there's something about the base that it's just not my favorite. So we can move on, and okay, this is all body care stuff, so we can still move on to the next two rows to look at more polish. I'm not really feeling anything here, and I would say, I mean, I guess like as far as familiar shades go, the Jen & Berry's You're My Favorite Thing, such a cute name. This kind of reminds me of Cirque's Intro Verde from the MXM Tune collection a while ago, where it's just kind of this like seafoam, you know, sort of shade, and this very similar pink to gold sort of shimmer. I think maybe this is like a bit darker or something, you know, it's not like an exact dupe. This also has more of a micro flaky formula as opposed to the shimmer. Oh, but you know, speaking of it being a micro flaky, it's like it almost wants to be Mooncat's Tectonic Shift, but not quite. Like this has, I think, like a smoother finish, while Tectonic Shift, you could see the flakies a bit more, at least from what I remember. It just looked more visually textured, but this looks a little bit smoother overall, but kind of the same color. And I was gonna say the Indie by Patti Lopez Flame Arrow magnetic kind of was like Holo Taco's Love Spell, but no, I think it's like a totally different shade. Maybe actually this is closer to Island Pea's Be Mine, because it's more of that raspberry red, like it's a little bit brighter with like a pinkish kind of shimmer, you know. It's closer to that, but still not a dupe for it either. But yeah, the others not really feeling, so again, we can just keep going to the next two rows. And again, I'm not really feeling anything. As far as familiar shades, I would say the Lurid looks kind of like Mooncat's Petals for a Narcissist, maybe not as sheer or just like a bit darker or just more gray. There's also the Moth and Moon Pascal that looks, at least color-wise, like Holo Taco's Stop Buggin'. It's just that very specific shade of green, but this obviously has reflective glitter, so you know, a little different finish-wise. I think the most interesting one to me is the Moonshine Mani called 99 Nights in the Forest. It's just a stunning red magnetic with a little bit of this green sparkle, obviously giving Christmas a little bit. It's so interesting to me how subtle the green is though. Like I almost wish it was a little bit more prominent in a way, because it kind of gets lost, I think, in the base. But I don't know, maybe like the subtleness is really pretty too, you know? But either way, I don't need it. I have so many red magnetics. I think the one that I have closest to this being, you know, a darker red is Island Peas Poison. I mean, this looks like it kind of can shift into that orangey golden shimmer color. So, you know, maybe it is pretty close to that. But yeah, that is pretty cool. But yeah, we can just keep it moving to the next two shades. And from here, I mean, this Nirvana Beauty looks really interesting. Okay, it looks really interesting in that first photo. No offense, you know, I don't mean to offend anybody or the brand or anything like that, but this is just much lighter than I was expecting. Like this photo, love it. I love that it's giving like dark, dramatic, you know, it's beautiful, but I kind of wish that's how it was like all the time. With how much brighter it is here, it's not my favorite, so... But you know, it's an interesting shade, I guess, still, just not for me. Ooh, we have our first, well, not our first, the first Encore that I'm seeing that is interesting is this Penelope Loose called Wisteria. I remember this coming out like last year or something and just swooning over it, and everybody's like, girl, you better get that shade. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted now. I'm kind of tempted, but I know I'm having the same thoughts as last year or however many months ago. Well, no, it's still last year where like in this collage, right? First of all, beautiful collage. Love the different angles, you know, the different lighting. My favorite photos though are the ones in the middle. Like these middle photos, like just the direct sunlight where the color is more of that, you know, pinky leaning, but I also love these two photos here where you see a little bit of both the pink and purple, and then obviously the rest of the top row and the bottom row are like the cooler tone purple. Still stunning, like don't get me wrong, right? It's still a beautiful, stunning shade. I'm honestly low-key tempted because I'm like, oh, this would be so perfect for, you know, February for my amethyst nails or something like that, but it's like I'm not gonna get it in time, you know. I don't want to get it and then regret it, but it's nice to see it again, you know. It's a familiar face, right? But it is stunning because this is just another smooth, fine particle magnetic formula that is just, it's gorgeous. But I just know I don't really wear this color that often, and so I wouldn't want it to, you know, be sitting in my collection. But it is so freaking stunning. Like this would probably be the one that would make it into my wish list so far. But considering I haven't even thought about it since it first came out, since I first saw it window shopping all that time ago, nor have I had any craving of wearing a dark purple magnetic, you know, it's like I shouldn't add it. I don't need to add it. So as beautiful as it is to look at, we can move on. And yeah, the other polishes, I mean, I guess the polish Meow Mirror, this one I think is pretty. It's just kind of that, you know, typical super sparkly shade. It's slightly pushing it in the color though, where I'm not always the biggest fan of these purple leaning pink type of shades, but like the shimmer makes it so pretty. This photo kind of reminds me of Mooncat's The Stolen Kiss, you know, just being like so icy looking, but it's definitely a different, you know, shimmer finish and whatnot. Not a dupe by any means. Super cute, but you know, I don't need to add it to my collection. And yeah, I think we can just move on to the next two rows. And okay, from here, first of all, this Pepper Polish Alchemical Light, I'm pretty sure, I think it's Emily DeMolly. It's either them or Alchemy Lacquers that has a topper that looks just like this with these really interesting like gold squiggly glitters. Though I don't know if it has all the extra stuff, you know, like all that shimmer and like the micro flakies and whatnot. Maybe it has like some sparkle, but yeah, I could have sworn there is a brand that has like basically a dupe for this. Not that I'm really interested in either, I just wanted to point that out. The Penelope Loose Peacock Feather, this one kind of looks like Mooncat's, or not Mooncat's, sorry, Bee's Knees Blade of the Frontiers. But okay, this is described as a glass magnetic teal. Yeah, I can see that teal in the base a bit more. I don't think the bee's knees is a teal. Like it's more of like a slate blue gray to me. Maybe they just have the same magnetic shimmer color, right? But yeah, this definitely has like a much more, you know, greenish, like teal base color, especially when you do the cat eye effect. Still stunning, very gorgeous. It's tempting because it's that smooth magnetic, right? But I don't want to get it. If anything, I would say the one that's even more tempting, like, or at least a little bit more, is this green from Pepper Polish called Source of Life. I don't think I've seen a green magnetic like this. Like this dark and this shade of green, it looks so incredibly stunning. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of tempted. I might have to look up, you know, some swatch footage or whatever just to see it a little bit more, because this is definitely the most unique. Like when it comes to dark green magnetics, the closest one that I can think of is Holotaco's Wicked Potion, which is just such a different shade of green. Like the only other one I can think of being somewhat similar to this is Cirque's Draco, but I feel like it's, I don't know, it's different. Like there's something about this color that is scratching a very deep part of my brain, and I love it. So, but I don't know, it's like I don't want to add it to my wish list, but I'm clearly like pining after it, right? Like so I should. So you know what, I'll just add it to my wish list for now, right? It's not, you know, it's not a permanent thing. I'll double check it later, but I guess because so far I was so convinced that I wasn't gonna get anything, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like not feeling anything, you know, I'm just window shopping. But now I'm kind of tempted. And the only other one that's kind of giving like a familiar vibe is the Red-Eyed Lacquer Chattermax, where it being this like pink with this, you know, reddish shimmer, it kind of reminds me of Potion Polish's Pink Sky at Dawn. Maybe a little bit different, but like that's the closest I can think of. So yeah, we can just finally move on from here. And from these polishes, I can't say I'm really interested in any of them. Like they're nice, you know. I guess the ones I like the most are the Ribbit Stickets Put Your Head On Straight and Sassy Cat's Dreams of Ube Mochi. They look like pretty shimmers, you know, very bold and colorful, but I don't know, I just don't really need them in my collection, right? So we can move on. And yeah, from here, also not really feeling anything. I'm not in the market for the base or top coat from Vibrant Scents, even though I do like the product, especially the base coat. It would be interesting to try their top coat because I feel like I have heard really good things about their top coat, but as far as like, you know, scented base and top coats go, they seem like another solid brand. But yeah, I'm just not in the market for them. So yeah, we can keep going. And from here, also not really interested. There's just some familiar shades like the Watcha Zeus that's kind of looking like Mooncat's, I was gonna say Mercury in Retrograde, but now I'm thinking of La Petite Mort, which is, I mean, that one has flakies in it, right? But you can kind of add flakies and sort of dupe it in a way. And then the Zombie Claw on the bottom is just kind of a white shimmer with, I think, like an orangey glow. So maybe this one is more similar to the Mooncat I was talking about before, What a Brilliant Nose. Or I wonder if it's closer to Memento Mori. Is that the shade I was thinking of before? Probably. But yeah, I'm not really interested in them. And I guess like the Witch Coal is kind of looking like a cracked polish. Oh my gosh, I know I had referenced it before, but I don't remember what it was called. But they've just had some blue shades like this. Maybe not as many flakies as what's in here. Ooh, definitely a bit of a chameleon too with how many like coats you do, or you know, the lighting and things like that. Super interesting color, but not for me, you know. And yeah, that's really like the end of of the website. So looking at my wish list, I just have this pepper polish, and you know what, honestly now I think I want to remove it. It is like So hypocritical, or wishy-washy, whatever. It's a gorgeous color. You know what this is reminding me of? Not that it's a dupe by any means, but color-wise, it reminds me so much of Holo Taco's Headhunter, which I love. Like, I love that green. It's giving, you know, the perfect dark academia, you know, moody library. Love it so much. But it's like, I already have that as a cream, and I love it as a cream. And I don't really feel like I need it as a magnetic. You know what I mean? This is just one that I'm like, wow, I haven't seen anything like it before. A magnetic in this color with this specific finish, but it's okay. Like, I don't need it in my collection. So I'm gonna remove it. And yeah, I officially have no items in my wish list. So that wraps up my window shopping for January's HHC. As always, I can't wait to hear what you think of this month's shop, the offerings. Are there any polishes that are on your wish list? Or are you gonna be skipping it entirely like I am? Because I was honestly pretty surprised. I mean, I know I mentioned it before that at first, it didn't seem like I was gonna be getting anything, and so I was kind of excited about that. There's something so satisfying about just actually window shopping, right? And like not adding anything to your cart. But I was tempted for a hot minute with that one green magnetic. I know it is so stunning, and I'm sure once I see like other people swatching it, it's gonna look so gorgeous, but I just feel like it's something that I can live without, you know? So I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna regret it down the line. But yeah, let me know any and all thoughts you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.